got 25 minutes. We got to go.
Hey, happy Wednesday,
What is going
everyone.
on? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Ba, 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 ba.
Happy first Wednesday of the new year, you guys. Hope you guys were safe. Hope everybody is treating themselves right out there. Welcome back. Another episode of Say That, guys.
We are super excited for our very first episode of the year. Thank you for being on with us. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to Say That Nation, where we are unapologetic about talking about the ugly come up. So we all know how we hear stories of people having absolutely nothing and then they have massive success, but it's what happens in the middle, right? What happens during the ugly come up? Well, we are here for all of that. So welcome to our inside depth, where we talk between each other. And we talk to other entrepreneurs who are out there in the trenches getting it done. We've got 25 minutes to answer the topic of the day. And when we have guests and the time is up, oh, the time is up. What are we going to do? Well, if you want to see what happens in overtime, which is where we go into the conversation in a little bit more depth, then just click on the Patreon link below in the description, and you can join us in overtime like we will be doing today.
Absolutely. And guys, today is definitely going to be a good one. I'm excited to get into the question. So let's get that Florida drum roll, please. And guys, today's question is, bing.
As a recording artist, is impact or influence more important?
Now, you were both, y'all sitting there like, wait, they recorded an album? No, guys, unfortunately, no, Janelle and I we don't got the chops for that. No. But we are blessed to have an amazing gentleman on with us. And he's actually in, I can't even call it studio, with Janelle live. So this is definitely going to be a lot of fun. What you got there with you, Jay?
All right. Well, I'm really excited because I couldn't think of a better person to answer the question than who we've got with us today. He's a CEO of his own company, his own brand. He's an entrepreneur, but more importantly, he is an impact recording artist. He's Emmy nominated. He's been doing songs that you may have seen appear during the Super Bowl, during the commercials. You may know that he's done some stuff with the UN. And I couldn't be more excited to have this individual talk about this particular subject, because we talked with someone before about the music industry, but now we're really going to get deeper into what does it take, right, when you're actually touching and reaching and connecting to an audience. And so please help me welcome Alexander Star.
Our next guest.
This road gets any darker, I might never get home. All I need to see is one firefly, just one firefly, to know that I ain't out here walking alone. Just show me one speck of light, just one speck of light, so I can finally make these shadows let go. One small firefly goes alone.
Yo, that song is fire, man.
You got me, I'm here.
Welcome to the show. For those of you who didn't catch on, that is actually Alexander's song that we played during his intro. Please go find that. It's called Firefly. Just one Firefly, excuse me. And it is a really, really great song, and it's really
definitely important. The lyrics are amazing.
Yeah, the message is really important right now. So,
What up?
Now I hear the echo. Yeah. This is what happens when you're on a live show, guys.
Mic check, mic check.
There we go. Better.
Is the echo gone?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Well, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Alexander. So for those who don't know your story, like how you got into music and the kind of entrepreneurial bug that you feel like you tapped into while you became a recording artist. Tell everybody a little bit about that.
Okay, and I'll try and keep it as truncated as possible. I've pretty much been doing music my entire life. My dad is a concert pianist. So He's an African-American who played classical music professionally throughout the civil rights era at a high level. So this is the music that I had in the living room growing up. Black man playing classical piano every day, right? So music was always there. my gift was more so on the language side. So I was writing rhymes from like second grade for like show and tell. I would rap at show and tell instead of just talking about my toy. I would rap about it.
Oh, wow.
Fast forward to 11th grade, I was freestyling at a basketball park, and an up and coming manager who was only a few years younger than me, he found me, brought me to my first studio. I was like 16, connected with people there. We formed a recording group. Our recording group wrote, co-produced, recorded, manufactured our own CDs. This is back when CDs was a thing. and we would hit the streets singing acapellas for people. So we would literally walk up to you at your dinner table on South Beach with your whole crew, or if you and your wife were there or whatever, we would walk up to you and say, hey, I'm with my recording group, can I sing for y'all? And everyone would kind of like raise their eyebrow, like, what do you want? Trying to hustle us. And then we would bust out in a 3-piece harmony, then beatbox and rap the verse, and then another 3-piece harmony chorus and out in a minute. And then they're like, oh, y'all got a CD? As a matter of fact, we do. So we sold CDs on the streets, grinding. We sold like 9,000 hand-pressed CDs, $10 a piece. NBA player moved us in his house. This is when I was 18 to 20. So I lived with a really cool guy in his mansion from age 18 to 20 with my group. And it was in that moment in my life where, in hindsight vision is always 20/20. The opportunity was tremendous, but none of us were businessmen. None of us were business people. We were all young, dope artists who thought that when you have people of influence around you, that whatever they're winning with is going to rub off onto you. And that's not the case. It was a situation where we were waiting on him, the ball player, to say, all right, guys, I'm going to give you this much budget for production, this much budget for touring, this much for wardrobe. We're waiting on him to like lay out the plan, because we were the guys smashing the street corners, selling CDs by singing live. Everybody loved us. Like, we had that on lock. But when it came to, okay, now we live with an NBA player in his mansion, what plan do we have to actually commercialize what we're doing? We were waiting on him to give us the plan. He was waiting on us to give him the plan. And after 2 years of living with this guy rent-free, we were in the same spot. Wow. Right? So I moved back into my room at my parents' house after living at an NBA player's crib for 2 years. Imagine how that feels.
How old were you at this point now when you moved back
20.
home? Okay.
20. Okay. So fortunately, I was a good student, so I had some college scholarships still waiting. Because honestly, I was in this recording group since I was in 11th grade. The day I graduated high school, I walked the stage, went to my got my stuff from the house, and me and the group jumped in a van and drove from Fort Lauderdale to New York City. The day I graduated high school, I didn't apply for a single college, even though I graduated with 4.0. Wow. So luckily, after, I wouldn't give back this experience, because I'm sure a lot of people would rather go live with a pro athlete right after high school than just go right to college. But I had scholarships waiting on me. I went back to college, and that's when I really became an impact artist, because I was like, yo, am I writing music that I will be proud to perform when I'm 50? You know what I mean? I want to make music that's going to last beyond whatever the fad and the trend of what's happening today is. So, it was just kind of like the way that I wrote changed in college, and I found strategic partnerships in college who saw that I'm really dope, but I'm not promoting ignorance or degrading women or being reckless or, I'm dope minus ignorant. And that's really what my brand has represented the whole time. So, I make music with positive messages, positive energy. It's not corny. That's the fine line that I always have to walk. And that's a line that most people have trouble walking, because, and forgive me if I'm going on about this.
No, go for it.
Here's my metaphor for content and substance in the music industry. Picture a tightrope, right? You're walking on a tightrope. You got both arms perfectly balanced, one on one side, one on the other, right? This tightrope is success in music, right? On one side of the tightrope is commercial sound that people want to listen to. Another side of the tightrope is substance, lyrics that people can relate to, that matter to people. The trick not the trick, but the gift that I've cultivated is having both arms extended on each side. The challenge, most people are either all the way commercial or they're all the way conscious for lack of the other side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you're commercial, you're all the way commercial and you have no substance. But when you're conscious and you got substance, you're all the way substance, but you're not commercially appealing. My gift is to walk that tightrope, straddle both sides. I got a grip on both sides firmly. So even when I'm being entertaining, there's substance in it. Even when I'm giving substance, it's dope. And that's what being an impact artist is, because I tie everything that I do with my music into resonating, but it first has to catch your attention.
Mm-hmm. Man, I love that, dude. First off, your story is insane. Like,
thank you.
That's
I cut out so much, bro. I like.
Oh, I could only imagine. No, I could only imagine. One, I love I consider this, and I think this was the first group I ever saw that did the acapella stuff, was Boys to Men. I think I had saw one of their music videos or something where they were legit, but then I found out, no, that's legit how these guys got signed, where they were out doing acapella music for people in the street. And so just listening to your story about how somebody, you know, found you, or you attracted them into your life, that's a powerful statement. And I love that you've already essentially addressed the question in terms of, as a recording artist, is impact or influence more important? And I do want to go a little bit deeper into that to understand, when we say important, and you mentioned success, what does success mean to you then? Because you're talking about straddling both sides of that. But is it in what have you found in the industry that success means more influence or impact?
Okay, I'm gonna try and find the easiest way to like chop this up and digest it piece by piece. I feel like a lot of people mistake being famous for being influential.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm not even getting it impactful yet, right?
Okay.
Because in essence, you got to become influential before you can become impactful. In many regards of the word, right? But people who are famous on social media, I think the word influencer is used incorrectly. You could get 500,000 followers from tripping and falling on your face on accident and it goes viral. That's not an influencer. That's a spectacle. You know what I mean? The things that people do on social media that go viral, a lot of the time, unfortunately, is for doing things or having things happen to them that they don't want replayed. They don't want it to define them, right? Oddly enough, some people go out of their way to have crazy shit happen to them just so they can get like a lot of views. But now, like, you're simply like recognized as that meme that we saw on the internet that something weird happened to, right? So to answer your question about what do I think success is, I don't think success is fame alone. And even if you are famous, that's not successful unless you become famous for something that you can naturally and genuinely replicate as a living, breathing human. If you become well known for doing what you naturally do, and all you have to do is exist and people eat it up, that's success. If you have to create something over and over that's a gimmick, that's not really you, but you created this character that you have to walk in the shoes of anytime you're in public, that's not successful. I don't care how famous you are, because for me, like, it's not about necessarily I want people needing to know who I am. I don't care if you know who I am or not, right? If I wrote this song for a major artist that's all over the radio, you don't need to know I wrote that song. You don't need to know what's in my bank account. I don't care about being famous. If I am going to be famous, then it's going to be for something that I resonate with as a man. And I'm going to get on stage and perform something that I believe in. I'm going to get in front of an audience and be someone that I naturally am. And that's just my approach. There's nothing wrong with what other people are doing. But my approach as an impact artist is to preserve my sanity when I create.
Love that.
It's almost like your success is tied up in your purpose, or like, to your point, like just being who you are without having to apologize for almost like make like a caricature of yourself, right? Like it's just kind of like being your organic self and like people enjoying that and wanting more of that.
Absolutely. And then changing your flair with your natural mood. I think Kanye is an amazing example. Kanye is he's not a character. He's a really eccentric dude. And his eccentricities shine through his wordplay, his production, his use of creativity is literally just him splattering his specific color of paint everywhere. Each of us is born with a specific shade of color that we can contribute to the world canvas. And as long as you're spewing your specific color, you're winning. The internet has enabled a lot of people to counterfeit a lot of styles, a lot of sounds, a lot of flow. Everybody's counterfeiting everybody. And when that happens, like the colors of paint that you're throwing out there, they're a lot less valuable because they're counterfeit colors. You know what I mean? Whereas if you're just genuine about your artistry and you make art for you to please yourself, I feel like that's when the best art is made. Not when you're necessarily trying to, please other people or get people to look at you or listen to you. Look at me. No, I don't. My favorite songs are the ones that I wrote alone. Nobody, like not necessarily commissioned per se, or influenced outside of me just wanting to have my thoughts brought to life. And I feel like every artist is capable of doing that, but not every artist actually understands the need to do that.
You know what? Oh, my bad. No. You want to go first, Jay?
Well, okay.
I'm on.
And we were talking a little bit before about, in a previous interview. So for those of you that watched the interview that we did with Nia Miles, who's a manager of several artists, she was talking about like how do you actually make money and the money that's required in order to make money in the music business, right? And so I'm listening to you, and the tightrope that you mentioned, right? Like it was a great analogy, but it's like the people who usually stay in the conscience realm don't necessarily make money. So like where does that come in? Like how do you convert that? How do you convert the impact into creating your lifestyle, pay bills, all that stuff? Because I mean, you had an NBA player paying for all your bills, and then all of a sudden, whoops, that goes away. So like, how does that work?
Basically, how do you make money with impact music?
Yes.
Yeah, but Alex, before you answer that, so here's a line, and I love this is the second time we've had recording artists on, and I'm going to throw this line out again. Jay-Z quote: "If skills sold, truth be told, I'd probably be lyrically Talib Kweli. Truthfully, I want to rhyme like common sense, but I did 5 mil. I ain't been rhyming like common sense." You may have heard it, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
And the reason I always love that line, to me, there's so much truth in it, because I think Jay-Z lyrically is great, except you're right. Something you said earlier, some of the things he talks about is very relatable, and then other things it's very aspirational. But I love that there was so much truth in that, because he's one of those artists that obviously is very influential and I'd say impactful to a culture. And he's being honest in that line. Like I would rhyme a certain way and touch you guys with certain things. It's almost like, but the audience doesn't want to hear that stuff. So I got to weave it into these other things so that I can get through to you guys.
Yeah. I mean, if I could just speak in metaphor for that, I feel like the most effective professors are the ones that you don't know are actually teaching you in the moment, right? So yeah, I think that's what Jay was trying to say, is that like, the commercialization of hip hop has made it challenging to directly deliver a positive message, because the money that's being made is being made off of the opposite of that. So this is something that I've experienced throughout my career. The idea that I'm an impact artist is a threat to what most labels have invested in. Right. Wow. I represent the antithesis of their formula, winning. So me winning is the antithesis of their formula actually working.
Okay.
Right. So for me to sustain myself as an artist, and this gets to your question, Janelle, is how does an impact artist make money? Is by strategically partnering as an artist with other impactors who don't have the gift that I have. They impact in other ways, but to communicate to the world what they're doing, they do that through me.
Okay.
So this is how I ended up, working with, let's say, for instance, the United Nations, MSC Cruises, doing an anthem for them, the Super Bowl 2020.
Yeah, that was fire.
I can give stories behind each of these songs. The country of Rwanda. That's like all of these places all these platforms that I've been able to touch have been as a result of me investing my artistry in the impact trajectory. So it's in a world where all the artists love telling you how great they are, I'm the artist telling you how great we are.
Oh, that's a quote right there. My God. Yeah, write that down. Write that down. Somebody post that back in the comments for me. We need that.
And it's so easy. And people, man, coming up, I've had so many A&Rs, executives, producers tell me that, man, if you want to make it big, strip club is the first place that any record that's big is. I'm like, yo,
it's gonna get played. Yeah,
I'm like,
I heard that before.
I'm like, do they play Taylor Swift in the strip club? She's pretty successful. Do they play Justin Timberlake in the strip club? He's pretty successful. Not even to go through. Do they play John Legend in the strip club?
Yeah,
he's successful.
Yeah.
Like everybody has a lane. If you want to go down that lane, then that's the lane like that you want to go down. I personally do not have an affinity for strip clubs. Right? It's not my thing. They're not entertaining to me at all. I'm more attracted to a librarian that is well put together, and I can look at her and be like, wow, I know you're gorgeous, and I know you're gorgeous under that, but you're not showing anybody. To me, that's attractive because it also shows that intellectually you know how to hold back. Right? So this is just me being an artist, voicing my preferences out loud. That's all I'm doing. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just sharing my preferences through what my brand is. Am I saying that right?
You absolutely are.
Like I'm going on, but I don't know if I'm like.
No. I love it.
Yeah, it totally makes sense to me. All right. So we only have a few minutes left. So then how do we?
So for
Jay, sorry, real quick. Can you repeat your question, Jay? Because you guys are both muted.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. So
I muted Alex. Sorry.
How does it convert? How do you make what you do into money now?
All right, go.
Cool. So I do a lot of performances. I get a lot of shows. I have a really dope band, Alexander Star and the Golden People. We get a lot of shows. Performance money is always like the easiest money to reach for artists when you reach a level of people wanting you to perform at their events. I do a lot of anthem work for organizations, for city governments, for nonprofits, for profits. Just in general, people come to me to write music that communicates the values of their brand through my artistic lens, right? But in order for me to get it's solid for me to get these jobs now and these collaborations now because I invested in it at first. So at the beginning of my career, it was a matter of identifying brands that I resonate with, creating something and approaching them with it. Like, hey, I love what y'all are about. I did something for y'all. What do y'all think of this? Now you made something tailor-made for this organization that's got muscle, marketing muscle and whatnot, and they're putting on events and so on and so forth. You create a song for them that's about them, but not corny. They love it. Now you can sit down with their marketing team. Yo, how can we bring this to life? How can we bring this to the people? Oh, you want to shoot a video for it? Okay, excellent. Now you've got a next asset that you as the artist or the writer didn't necessarily have to invest in. You invested your creativity into sharing an asset that resonates you with this organization who can take this asset that is you and share it with the world. I did a number of those ventures coming up from like, you know, a decade ago. And as a result, you get the footage of you strategically partnering with big brands. Nobody knows what they paid you or didn't pay you.
Yeah.
They just know that you collaborated with this brand. Now you got this brand, you know, on your website that you work with. Now perception is value. In art, perception is value, right? In everything, perception is value, right?
Yeah.
Like diamonds, like they tell you there's not a lot of them to raise the price, but there's a lot more than what they say. They just keep them in a reserve to keep the price up, right?
Yeah.
But as an artist, it's completely different because you have to carry yourself and back up why you're valuable. You gotta, that you're valuable and why you're valuable. So, and for me, it's just it's largely been in the community impact space. I help people make music that they can be proud of and I can be proud of. We do it together, and like we feed each other, you know.
Man, that is so good. Okay, I know we had a question in the chat. I definitely saw Janelle's head turning just now, and I know we're going into overtime. So we just want to make sure that you guys can actually connect with Alexander when the show's over. So there's his Instagram. Like Janelle always likes to say, he is a real person.
He's a real person.
We already know if you're out there and you're single, he's into librarians. So you can get that.
He's married.
Oh, yeah. my bad. Don't put that out there. Winston, take that back. Mrs. Star, I apologize.
It's all good.
All right, but there's his Instagram. Don't be getting crazy in this.
Oh, y'all put an extra R on it. My name.
Okay.
R on Star.
I'll edit that.
That's very, 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 very important.
It is.
I'll edit that for you guys. All right, and then before I'll put that back up. Boom, boom. All right, so there it is. Corrected. Thank you for that.
Booyah.
All right. So there's that. And I also know that you have your website, and I just wanted to throw that up before we jump off.
Yep. alexanderstar.com.
There it is. Boom.
Boom.
Is that up for you guys? All right, cool. And then there's the link for his website, guys. Did I have that one up? Okay, good. All right. So if you guys want to check him out on either IG or go to his web, this commercial was fire. I actually saw that Mark Sanchez was in there. I'm like, Mark Sanchez is alive?
Damn. Okay.
I don't watch football anymore, so I don't know. And I know he commented for a period of time, but I saw that and I saw Mark Sanchez in it, so I thought that was dope, actually. Website is absolutely fire, guys. Alexander Star. And as we take this into overtime, the question that I know came up in the chat, where was it? Boom.
I found it.
All right, so the question, thank you, Jay. Go for it. Good. So how do you externally measure your impact as an artist? And guys, if you want the answer to that question, you got to jump over to Patreon. Like Janelle said in the beginning, the link is in the bio so that you guys can go right there, and we'll actually be live with Alexander in overtime on Patreon. You can literally sign up for it today and join us for the rest of this amazing conversation. Guys, thank you so much for everybody who's been on. Alex, dude, this was so dope.
This is amazing.
I'm excited to get into the rest of this and a couple questions I know that came up for me. But until next time, as always, remember, you deserve the good life. Say that. All right, guys, we'll see you guys in a couple minutes on Patreon. Peace.